When you can't be there, Smart Packs can. Smart Packs are the only way to be sure your horse gets the right supplements in the right amounts every day. Say goodbye to missed doses and borrowed scoops, and say hello to a happier, healthier horse.
Once again, our course designed by Steve Stevens. And the final fence. Once again, our panel of judges. Panel number 1, Jeff Ayers and Rob Bielfeld. Panel 2, Patrick Rhodes and Randy Mullins. And panel 3, Jimmy Toon and Richard Slocum. $72.66 was our total for our first entry. Again, we're watching the WCHR Professional Challenge here in the initial round. When we get to the final national competition on Friday night, only the top 6 riders will qualify, each riding 4 different horses. On course now, 1198, the Spy, owned by Isla Limones and ridden by Caroline Whedon. In finishing their round, Caroline Whedon. Caroline from Lake Forest, Illinois, bringing in 847 points from the beginning of this morning, not reflecting points possibly accrued during the performance today. Coming into the day, though, 847 points. And the scores: Panel 1, 84, Panel 2, 81, Panel 3, 77, for a new top score of 80.66. 112 joins us next. It's Akinda, owned by Victoria Press and ridden by Patricia Griffith. Top finisher in 2008. Patricia Griffith, winner of the $500,000 Diamond Mills Hunter event in Saugerties, New York, a few weeks ago. Patricia bringing in 822 points, riding out of Katona, New York. Very nice round for Patricia Griffith and Akinda, again owned by Victoria Press. Excellent scores indeed. Panel 1, 88. Panel 2, 87. Panel 3, 83. And a current leader at 86.0. Patricia Griffith on top right now in the early going. Here is Emilio, 229, owned by Bella Kramer. Luis Sirio, who is a three-time champion of the national program for the World Champion Hunter Rider, winning in 01, 02, and 05. So Patricia Griffith right now with an 86, topping the field. Again, we have 3 panels and 6 judges total here for this challenge event. And we're in our 18th continuing year for this World Champion Hunter Rider Professional Challenge event. Louise brings in 1,395 points, riding out of Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. And a good ride for Louise. Can she top the 86 score of Patricia Griffith and Akinda? Scores will be coming up in just a moment. Approximate field of 23, maybe 24 riders in the first round of this event. Not quite, but an 84 total, and the panel scores 86, 80, and 86 for an 84 total for Emilio and Luis Sirio of Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. Here is Gelato, 1312 the number. Gelato's owned by Connor Perrin and ridden by Nick Hannes from California. Nick brings in 1,270 points and rides out of San Clemente, California, right on the coast north of San Diego. Gelato, Nick Hannes. Young professionals, just several years out of the junior ranks, but making quite a name for himself not only on the Pacific coast, but here in the East as well. Around the turn left-handed, final line now for Gelato and Nick Hannes of San Clemente, California. Top score belongs to Patricia Griffith right now with an 86. If you've just joined us with that mouse click to the USEF network, welcome. Our panel of judges, Jeff Ayers and Rob Bielfeld. Panel 1, Patrick Rhodes and Randy Mullins. Panel 2, Jimmy Toon and Richard Slocum. Panel 3, scores coming up for Nick Hannes and Gelato here in just a couple of seconds. Top 12 will return for the second round, and again, the points accrued could jettison them into the top 6. Here the score is 87, a big swing to 79.5, and then 84.5 for an 83.66. Third right now for Gelato, Nick Hannes from California. This is Shade coming up next. 453 the number, owned and ridden by Katie Lambert Boone. Katie Lambert brings in 1,404 points, riding out of Houston, Texas. Tremendous number of areas in the United States represented here this year, and the Capital Challenge has been the case that way for the past 18 years. Truly a national scope of riders and horses from all over the country. Again, Shade, Katie Lambert Boone on their first round effort. On the way home line now, Shade once again, Katie Lambert Boone aboard. Top score 86, held by Patricia Griffith and Akinda. We'll see how generous our panel of judges can be here for Shade. Panel 1, 76, panel 2, 77, and panel 3, 73 for a 75-33, moving into the fourth spot. 75-33 for Shade. Here's Garfield, owned by Alexandra Crown. Scott Stewart is up on Garfield, number 408. And many times a champion of this competition, 09, 06, and 97 for Scott Stewart. Scott with an excellent performance earlier in the day on Concept to capture the second spot in the Future Hunters Championship. Scott brings in 1,829 points and rides out of Wellington, Florida. Again, the points that I mention are of the beginning of today and may have changed somewhat. Good round here by Scott Stewart. We'll see how that plays with our three panels of judges. Again, top score right now belongs to Akinda and Patricia Griffith with an 86. And this may very well ellipse that and move Scott Stewart in front. .94, 90, and 85.75 for a new score at the top. 89.91 jumps in front by 3.61 seconds. Points obviously are being calculated, not seconds, but it's Garfield and Scott Stewart who have moved in front. 469, Small Kiss. Katie Taylor is our emerging young pro leader, signified by the armband. Iwasaki and Riley, the owners of Small Kiss. Coming from California, Katie Taylor with 1,551 points on her way to hopefully capturing that emerging professional title. And it would be certainly nice if she could add an opportunity to her riding here at the Capital Challenge this year by getting into the top 6 for Friday night. Katie from quite an athletic family, father professional hockey player of great acclaim, and sister also a top equestrian. So how will it fare here from our panel of judges for the top emerging professional here going against all of the big dogs. Scott Stewart with an 89.91 in second. Patricia Griffith third with an 86. Luis Sirio sitting third with an 84. 81, 83, and 80 for an 81.33. And into the fourth spot for Small Kiss. Katie Taylor from the Pacific Coast. Here's 485 Broadway, owned by Amber Hentner. Jenny Karasisis, the 05 winner of the challenge from Calabasas, California. Jenny suffering a pretty devastating fall, still riding with metal in her left arm. But a tough competitor, and we'll see how she fares on a mount she's not that well acquainted with. Broadway, owned by Amber Hentner. Jenny Karasisis from California on a new mount runs the turn for the final line here in the initial round. Things going well for Jenny, and very good ride. Hasn't been in the ring for some time after that accident that occurred just about 2 months or so ago. And we'll see how she fares here in her return to the show ring here at the Capital Challenge. Jenny scores an 85, an 80.5, and an 82 for 82.5. She'll move into the unofficial 5th position right now on Broadway. Here's Baloo, owned by Lisa Arena. Lisa's also aboard. Actually, it's Amanda Stige that is aboard. 578 Baloo. And the round concludes for Baloo. Again, Garfield and Scott Stewart, owners of the lead right now in an 89-91 performance. Patricia Griffith hanging tough on Akinda in the second spot. Emilio and Luis Serio sitting third. Scores for Amanda Stige and Baloo, 75 from panel 1, then a 78 and a 74 for 75-66. 75-66 total for Baloo. .653, the number for Sambalino, Peter Pletcher. Winner in 1998 and in 2000. Rides for Becky Gonkman. 653 Sambalino. Peter is the top qualifier as of this morning, 1981. The total points, 1981. Of course, Peter riding out of Magnolia, Texas. Enjoying a tremendously successful horse show with this horse already. On the way home, Sambalino, Peter Pletcher, currently top qualifier. And can we award more than 89.91 to take the top spot right now away from Garfield and Scott Stewart? How generous will the judges be? Again, panel 1, Jeff Ayers and Rob Bielfeld. Patrick Rhodes, Randy Mullins, panel 2. Jimmy Toon and Richard Slocum, panel 3. 90 from number 1. Number 2 scores 92. Number 3, 87. We have a new leader. No, 89.66, just fractions away. So ranked second right now, Sambalino and Peter Pletcher. Here is Mouse up next. Number card is 940. Sofia De Pompo is the owner. Colleen Costa is the rider, and we're having some trouble indeed. Colleen bringing in 1,048 points from South Lake, Texas, but it is not going to score well here. So Garfield holds the lead tightly. Sambalino's moved second, Akinda third, Emilio is fourth, Gelato now fifth, followed in the top 8 by Broadway, Small Kiss, and The Spy. Again, top 12 will move forward into the second round, and there is the possibility that somebody will jump up with an excellent performance here to gain entry into the final top 6 for Friday night. And of course that would require a spectacular round. So some tough going here for Colleen Acosta. Many times a champion in Southwestern and Texas competition. But a tough break here. Scores 20, 30, and 30 for a 26-66. $89.91 is our top scorer thus far, Garfield, and just behind by a minute amount of score, Sambolino and Peter Pletcher. Little refreshment in front of fence number 1. Now Gramercy Park, owned by Lynn Ellen Rice. Tom Brennan is aboard. And a plethora of championships garnered by this partnership. How will they fare against Garfield's 89.91? We'll see as they round the turn right-handed defense number 1. The World Champion Hunter Rider Professional Challenge underway here at the Capital Challenge. Upper Marlboro, New York, and we're pleased to bring it to you on USEF Network. On the way home now, Gramercy Park and Tom Brennan. Crowd likes it, and we'll see how the judges view that same performance. 3 scores above 85 in an 89.91, 89.66, and an 86. We'll see how Gramercy Park fares alongside those scores. Judges seem to like it as he moves into the 3rd spot with his score 85.5, 88, and 86 and 1/2 for an 86.66. So Gramercy Park moves into 3rd. 1373 is on course now. This is Carhart. Katie Cooper is the owner and rider. Katie bringing in 746 points, riding out of Owings Mills, Maryland. On the way home now, Carhart. Scores of 82-50, 84, and 78 for an 81-50. 81-50. For Carhart. .236 joining us now. John French, the winner in 2010 and 11, joins us now, and he rides for Marianne Osborne on Mine, number 236. John brings in 1,851 points riding out of Woodside, California, south of San Francisco, in the hub of equestrian activity in the Bay Area. John French home on Mine. Again, John bringing in fourth best total as of point tabulations from this morning. And he faces 89.91, owned by Scott Stewart and Garfield, with Peter Pletcher and Sambolino second, just about 0.3 behind. Six judges in pairs here, panels 1, 2, and 3. We score 83 for Judge Panel 1, 80.75, and a 79 for an 80.91 for John French and Mine. .541 is Taken. Kelly Farmer's up for Jessica Stitt on Taken. Kelly bringing in 1,770 points, riding out of Horse Country, Keswick, Virginia. .541 Taken, Kelly Farmer. Over the bamboo oxer to finish, Kelly Farmer and Taken. Right now, the 11th qualifying score is 80.66. Scores of 89, 85, and 82.75 for a score fifth best right now of 85.58. So fifth is taken by Taken right now, and Kelly Farmer, 85.58. Jennifer Bowersox riding for Lee Kellogg Sadrian on Sterling next. 388. Sterling, and now it requires a score of 80.66 or higher at this point in order to get into the second round. Jennifer brings in 977 points, riding out of Frenchtown, New Jersey. Single oxer leading us to the final line, the bamboo rails at that vertical onto the oxer to finish. Hopefully she wants to score better than 80.66. That's what it takes now to jump into the final 12. I'll give you a complete rundown here after we get a score for Sterling. Needs better again than 80.66 to move up into the top 12. '82, 80.25, and 83.5, so she'll jump forward with an 81.91 for Sterling. $702 Minion is on course now. Minion owned by Marcia Castleman. Elizabeth Salter is aboard. Back in '96, winner of this event. Elizabeth bringing in 1,053 points, riding out of Berlin, Maryland. So right now Garfield is on top. Sambolino is second. Gramercy Park is third. Akinda is fourth. Taken is fifth. Emilio's sixth. Gelato seventh. Broadway's eighth. Sterling is ninth. Carhartt is 10th. Small Kiss 11th. And Mine is in the 12th spot. And the qualifying scores moved up to 80.91. That's unofficial, as Minion and Elizabeth Salter finished their round here in the first round of our World Champion Hunter Rider Professional Challenge. Thanks for clicking on to USEF Network. We're coming to you from the Capital Challenge Horse Show, Upper Marlboro, Maryland. This beautiful showplace facility. Scores for Minion, and she'll jump in. And we have a tie again. 84, but scores 84.5, 83.5, and 84 for Minion. $12.94 identifies Together. Jack Hammond of the Pacific Northwest joins us for Nicole Musser's entry Together. Jack Hammond and John Turner, of course, one of the top professional barns in the entire Pacific Northwest. They might have made the longest trip here to the Capital Challenge. From Sammamish, Washington, and Jack brings in 1,541 points. So a good ride here just might jettison him into the top 6, depending on what the total points accrued today might be. That being the case, we'll have quite a national field indeed for the final rounds. There's Jack Hammond and Together for Nicole Musser out of Sammamish, Washington. Judging more critical toward the end. Here's an 85.25, an 83.75, and an 82.50 for an 83 for Together and Jack Hammond. Starting their round now is Carlton Brooks from Southern California, riding for Chloe Carmen on Sin City. Number 497. Carlton bringing in a good number of points, 1341. So the West Coast well represented here. Katie Taylor, Jenny Karasisis, Jack Hammond, John French, Carlton Brooks, among others. But it's the elusive top 6 that we'll get into the finals on Friday night. Not that the win here tonight would not be a feather in any rider's cap. Each of the competitions a tremendous, prestigious win for a rider of any caliber, but usually it's only the top professionals that put it all together with the pressure here of riding against one another, especially in such a national scoped event. As I mentioned, almost every area of the country that has any concentration of quality show hunters represented here each and every year at the Capital Challenge. It is the place to be. Carlton Brooks, Sin City, awaiting their score. 75.5, 79, 75, 81, 50, 78, 91. And that will not jettison Carlton and Sin City forward. Here's Black Label now, 724. Martine van der Hoeven from Texas, riding for Augusta Pines. Martine, Spring, Texas, bringing in 1,001 points. Unofficial cutoff right now is Carhartt's 81.5. And on the way home, Black Label and Martine van der Hoeven from Texas. Again, the bottom qualifying score, 81.5, owned by Carhartt. And Katie Cooper. On the other side of that, the top is owned by Garfield and Scott Stewart at 89.91. Scores for Martine van der Hoeven and Black Label 80, 76, and 71 for 75, 66. Three remain to jump now, and this is 841, Say What? Sandy Farrell up for Rodney Bross. Sandy brings in 734 points, from Burnville, Pennsylvania. Scores right now within about an 8-point range, actually a little less than an 8-point range. So the scoring tight indeed, which is always the case when you put professionals from all over the country in a beautiful facility on great mounts. The crowd appreciative for Say What and Sandy Farrell. And the judges, in a moment, will say what about that round. Again, 89.91 is the top qualifying score right now. 81 and a half unofficially would get the 12th spot in. $83.5 from Judge Panels 1. From Panel 2, 82. Panel 3, not as appreciative in 78.5, but 81.33 is just out of the running. So just out of the running, 81.33 for Say What. Now 594, Elizabeth Boyd is aboard. Quatrain for the Finley Farm and Janet Peterson. Elizabeth brings in 1,856 points, riding out of Camden, South Carolina. That was the third best accumulation of points as they were tabulated early this morning. So, again, points could have been accrued today that would not appear in the totals that I give. As I mentioned earlier in the day, I think that puts a little extra pressure on you when you go late in the order and you know how tight the standings are. You don't have that same feeling when you ride earlier in the order, especially with only 12 coming back. You really have to bear down. And Elizabeth Boyd over the course, a very nice ride on Quatrain. How will, if she will, fit in to the top 12? Again, unofficially 81.5 be the 12th qualifying score, and 89.91 would be the one you have to beat to take the top spot. $89.5, $88.5, and $85 will assure that Elizabeth Boyd moves forward, as that is the third best overall score, $87.66 for Quatrain. First round will end with this performance, 895, Living Color. Daniel Geithner is up for Robin Hughes. And the last to ride. In our first round, Daniel brings in 1,001 points, riding out of Aiken, South Carolina. And the question now, will Daniel Geithner join us for his second round, or will he watch from the rail? Our three panel Assortment of judges once again includes Jeff Ayers and Rob Bielefeld as Panel 1, Patrick Rhodes and Randy Mullins Panel 2, Jimmy Toon and Richard Slocum Panel 3, and we'll know here in a moment whether Daniel Geithner goes forward. 81-91 would be the bottom qualifying score unofficially for the top 12 to move forward. Not going to be the case for Daniel. 82-25, 80.1, and 75 for a 79-11 total. Tough going indeed when you put this many great professionals on top of excellent horses in the perfect facility over a beautiful course. So it looks like Garfield will be the top contender for the second round, followed in line by Sambolino, Quatrain, Gramercy Park, Akinda, and Taken 6th, Emilio 7th, Minion 8th, Together 9th, Gelato 10th, Broadway 11th, and Sterling will come back, I believe, first if they come in reverse order. Sterling is the 12th to qualify. Excellent performances. You can see the qualifying scores now on screen. You can see how tight the race is. 12 within just about 8 seconds even, or 8 points rather even, separating the 12 qualifiers. Steve Stevens and crew assembling the second round course.
Colic is very scary and is responsible for more deaths in horses than any other disease. Fortunately, there's a growing body of research around key ingredients like prebiotics, like yeast and enzymes that are in our own Smart Digest Ultra. We're so confident in Smart Digest Ultra that we're backing it with a $7,500 colic surgery reimbursement program called Colicare. With Smart Digest Ultra and Colicare, you can sleep soundly, knowing you have the best digestive product and the best digestive program in his corner.
I'd say what drives me is a competitive nature to be the best. I think it's a real game of concentration, putting yourself in the horse's head a little bit. I hear the rhythm of the horse covering the ground, the breathing of the horse, and the horse gives you the feeling of flight. You feel like you grow with them, and you train them, and you teach them, and they really become a part of the family.
You trained, ran, jumped, and literally carried people to victory. But even that may not be enough. Each year, nearly 100,000 horses in the U.S. will suffer neglect, abandonment, or a cruel premature death as they're auctioned off by the pound.
Take action for horses now at aspca.org/horse.
The Chronicle of the Horse is the leading source for high-performance sport horse news. The Chronicle, a staple in our industry for 75 years. Keep your finger on the pulse of the sport horse industry and subscribe today. Visit cronofhorse.com.
They're coming from all over the world to the nation's capital. The champions, the Olympians, the best of the best. They're coming to the Washington International Horse Show at the Verizon Center. Are you? Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
There aren't many guarantees in the barn, but we've got one you can count on. Order any of our smart supplements in smart packs and we'll guarantee you'll see results or we'll give you your money back. No questions asked. Supplements that are guaranteed to work. We took care of that too.
Unique fence here set up by Mr. Stevens. This was not in the first round. Most of the other jumps did appear in the first round, but that unique, natural-looking three-part fence, not part of it. Nice straight-line approach here. Again, the score coming in for Sterling, 81.91. Top scorer scored 89.91. Into the two-stride combination. Again, the jury sitting right there on top of those birch rails. Nice long opportunity now to the pillars. Back over the initial jump in reverse. So Sterling and Jennifer Bauer-Sachs bringing in an 81.91 score. We'll see how she fares with our judges. The first of 12 coming back in the World Championship Hunter Rider Professional Challenge with $25,000 at stake, a winner's share of $7,500. But equally as important may be those qualifying points to try and get into the big event on Friday. Michael Moran here with you on the USEF network from the beautiful venue here in Upper Marlboro. So scores of 85, 90, and 85 for a second round average of 86.66. And here's the total of the averages now, 166.91. 166.91 for Sterling. $166.91. Now 400. 485 is Broadway up next. Broadway is owned by Amber Hantner, written by Jenny Karasisis, the 05 winner of our challenge. Jenny comes in with an 82.5 score. Again, as I mentioned this afternoon, recovering well from a very serious fracture in her left arm. And back in good style rather quickly. Broadway, Jenny Karasisis with an 82.5. Jenny brings in 1,047 points, home base Calabasas, California, with her husband, Coasty, and brother-in-law, Nick, operating the Far West Farms. Nice round for Jenny Karasisis on Broadway. Again, she brings in 82.5. And 1,047 points going into the second round. Scores of 87, 84, and 85. And moving up the line to establish a 167.83 score for Jenny Karasisis and Broadway. So Broadway establishes the best score thus far. Now 1312 Gelato. Nick Hannes from the West Coast as well. From San Clemente, California, riding for Connor Perrin on Gelato. He brings in an 83.66 score. Nick brings in 1,270 points. Again, 1981 right now is the top. However, somebody could, with an excellent performance, jump way up in the standings. And again, they're trying to be in the top 6. Nicely done by young professional Nick Hannes from San Clemente, California on Gelato. Once again riding for Connor Perrin, bringing in a score from the first round of 83.66. Broadway and Jenny Karasisis posted a 167.83, currently leading. Nick Hannes and Gelato third of the 12 returning. And we have an 86, an 82, and an 86 for a 168.32 as the scores begin to climb. So Gelato takes the lead now with Nick Hannes. $12.94 identifies the next of our finalists. Together, Jack Hammond from Sammamish, Washington, is aboard for Nicole Musser. And Jack and Together bring in an 83.83 score from the initial round. Jack Hammond and John Turner in their Thumbs Up Farm, one of the top show stables in the Pacific Northwest. Jack brings in 1,541 points. Jack Hammond and Together on their way home, the bending line to the natural Oxer. And then they brought in 83.83, looking to better 168.32 or go as high as they can. Fourth to work out of our top 12 qualifiers here. $25,000 purse, $7,500 to the winner, and some very valuable points. And the total score, with scores from individual panels of 81, 81, and 79, gives us a 164.16. 164.16 for Together and Jack Hammond from Sammamish, Washington. Now 702, Minion, owned by Marcia Castleman. Elizabeth Salter, the 96 winner, going back in the history of our World Championship Horse and Rider, Hunter Rider rather, Professional Challenge back in 96. Elizabeth Salter, the winner. Aboard Minion here with an 84 score from the initial round. And a little bit of a problem there at fence number 2. Took a hard look at the shrubbery possibly. Just the unique configuration. This fence, as I mentioned, not part of the initial round. On the way home, 96 winner Elizabeth Salter and Minion with a little bit of a spook, if you will, at fence number 2. And we'll see what the judges think about that. Again, she comes in with an 84 score. $75, $75, and $76 will give us a total for Minion of $159.33, and they did penalize heavily for fence number 2, I would think. $229 now returns, again with an 84 score, and $229 is Emilio, owned by Bella Kramer. The 2002 winner of this competition, Louise Serio, has answered the stirrup call here for Emilio. And again, bringing in an 84 score. And Louise brings in 1,458 points, riding out of her home base, Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. Score to beat, owned by Gelato at this point. This would be our 6th, halfway through the final round now. 168.32 would be the target score. Coming home, Louise Serio and Emilio. Nice round indeed. Appreciated by our fans here. And we'll see the number appreciation from our 3-panel jury. 6 judges in all. taking hard looks at these top professionals. Superb rounds turned in the qualifying event, yielding excellent scores. So the competition extremely keen here. 86.5, 83, and 82 for a 167.83. And that would be a tie right now, 167.83, tying Broadway and Jenny Karasisis. And our call judge will separate those. .541 is on course now, taken, owned by Jessica Stitt. Kelly Farmer is aboard. Kelly brings in 85.58 as a score from the qualifying round. Kelly also brings in 1,778 points and riding out of her base in Keswick, Virginia. Only 4 points separating the second half of our qualifying field. Coming in with an 85.58 and an 89.91 being the top of the line. So from that you can realize the importance of a single half point. Kelly in the number 5 qualifying spot right now. Turns in a very smooth round, and we'll see how the judges appreciate that. Again, she comes in with an 85.58 and looking to hopefully jump in front of Gelato's 168.32. Kelly 7th to return in our 12-horse qualifying field. .90 from panel 1, then an 88 and an 87.5, jumping well in front to a 174.08. 174.08 for Taken. Taken has in fact taken the top. .112 now, Akinda. Patricia Griffith is up for Victoria Press. Patricia, winner of the 2008 Challenge. And as I'm sure many of you know, winner of the $500,000 Diamond Mills Hunter Prix. That was on her own horse. Nicely impressed by fence number 2. Patricia brings in 982 points in the overall standings of the professional ranks and rides out of Katona, New York. Comes in with an 86 score from the first round. And it will require every bit of that and then some to take over from Taken. And there you have it. Akinda bringing in an 86 with Patricia Griffith for Victoria Press. And now certainly at this point in the second round, it is time to lay one down, as they say, in order to garner those tremendously valuable points and, of course, a bigger and better share of our $25,000 purse. We'll be adding to an 86 from the initial round. And the judges liked it, but not enough to move in front. 88, 87, and 86.5. Into the second spot will go Akinda, 173.16 for Patricia Griffith and Akinda. So the competition heats up indeed. 143 now, Gramercy Park. Gramercy Park owned by Lynn Ellen Rice, Tom Brennan. Top scorer in our emerging pro competition earlier. He'll be back for his second round in that section. 86-66 garnered by Gramercy Park in the initial round. He'll be the first of the four remaining. Tom brings in 1,323 points and riding out of Charlestown, West Virginia. Riding along with his 86.66 first round effort, trying to better Taken's 174.08. Turning for home, he'll have to match that plus a little to move in front. Match that 86.66 in order to take the lead. Tom sitting 13th in the standings for Friday night, before any points accrued in this competition are added. Scores coming up. All three panels must score in before they'll put them on the board. Computer calculated. And we have 84 from panel 1, 87.5 and 85. Moving into third for a 172.16 for Gramercy Park. $594 is our next and working on course right now. This is Quatrain from Finley Farm and Janet Peterson. Elizabeth Boyd is aboard. Elizabeth scoring an 87.66, third in the qualifying round. And Elizabeth right now with 1,716 points, riding out of the Finley Farm location in Camden, South Carolina, and she sits in the overall standings 6th right now. So it becomes ever more important. Not just for the money, but for Friday night's World Champion Hunter Rider Finals. Elizabeth has not been a winner of that competition just yet, but certainly a fine candidate for the title. Over the last fence, crowd likes it. If she can double that score, she may move in front, but you'll have to be in the 87 infractions range. $174.08 is the score to beat right now. Taken has it. Judges having to sharpen their pencils, if you will, as these scores get tighter and tighter. $174.24. We have a new leader in quatrain. Scores of 86 and a quarter, 86 and a half, and 87. So ranked first right now, Elizabeth Boyd in quatrain. Second in the qualifying round, 653 returns now. Sambolino, owned by Becky Gochman and ridden by two-time victor here in the Challenge in the years of 98 and 2000 from Magnolia, Texas. Peter Pletcher is the pilot for Sambolino, bringing in an 89.66. 89.66, and Peter is the top qualifier right now in total points, 1,981. So critical right now for Sambolino and Peter to lay one down and try to get ahead of Garfield. Scott Stewart will be coming along to finish with just 0.3. 0.3 points separating the first and second of the first round. So two great professionals, Scott Stewart winning in 97, 06, and 09. So two-time winner against three-time winner, and just 0.3 points separating the two. Around the turn comes Peter Pletcher and Sambolino. Glides down to the last, and the crowd likes it, but they didn't seem to be jumping out of their skin necessarily. However, it was a very nice round of applause. 89-66, the first round effort. Quatrain with a 174.24 right now has the lead. And the fingernails are being bitten by many. So all coming down to the last two horses, I believe. Again, $7,500 in the winner's share. Then it drops to $5,250. And the points, of course, change as well. All eyes on the scoreboard right now, waiting for the judges to finish their determination and key in to the computer. And we'll have those results coming up, I believe, in seconds. I think that loud noise you hear might be the pins dropping, as the scores have yet to come up. 85.5, 85.5, 86.75. A new leader, but not by a tremendous margin, and that may leave the door open for Garfield. 175.57 for Sambolino. Now it's up to Garfield and Scott Stewart coming in with an 89.91. Remember, they were just 0.3 points ahead of Sambolino. Again, Scott Stewart, owner of the competition in 97, in 06, and in 09. 175.57. Score to beat. Around the turn and coming home. Is victory within reach? Scott Stewart and Garfield coming in just 0.3 points ahead of Peter Pletcher and Sambolino. They score 175.57. Both gentlemen enjoying tremendous success already in all divisions that they've ridden in here at the Capital Challenge version 2012. So they do battle again here in the $25,000 World Champion Hunter Rider Professional Challenge. And Scott Stewart or Peter Pletcher. Moments away from that decision appearing on our scoreboard. Difference in the money, about $2,250, but the points, Scott Stewart coming in third with 1,899. That's 1,899 points. Just about 100 points behind Peter. So they both, I'm sure, will be assured of a spot in the final. Ooh, 79, 85, 75, and 87, 25 could have been the bamboo pole oxer that made the difference there. 173.91, fourth. 173.91. It'll be fourth for Garfield. Peter Pletcher has topped the field on Sambolino with 175.57 points. Quatrain will end up, and these are official, unofficial rather, numbers, but it looks at this point like Sambolino will win. Quatrain will be second. Taken third. Garfield fourth. Akinda fifth. Gramercy Park will be sixth. Gelato seventh. Broadway eighth. Emilio ninth. Sterling 10th. Together will be 11th. And Minion will be 12th. We'll wait for the official results, of course, but valuable points going toward Friday evening's finale in the World Championship Hunter Rider program. Coming into tonight, as I mentioned, Peter Pletcher was on top. Hunt Tosh, not in the competition, was second. Then Scott Stewart was third. John French fourth. Kelly Farmer was fifth. Elizabeth Tal Boyd was in the sixth position. All but Hunt Tosh in this program. Again, our presenting sponsor this evening in our $25,000 World Championship Hunter Rider Professional Challenge, Richard Schechter and his Bainbridge Farm. So I don't think it'll be too difficult to determine who will come back for the top six, but we'll leave that to our accountants. Our accountants of the points for the professional ranks. Great performance, excellent scores, beautiful course design job by Steve Stevens. Footing here, just superb for the horses around here in the main arena. Of course, an excellent job being done by Capital Challenge Partnership. Managers Bill Glass and Oliver Kennedy. J.P. Goddard assisting those gentlemen. Steve Stevens, the course designer. Great accumulation of top professional judges as well. Beautiful trophy. Presented also, along with a tremendous amount of prizes, presentations, and money coming up. Again, the winner's share $7,500, and it goes on down the line with 12 prizes to $450. Entry fee of $350. Oliver Kennedy in center ring to organize our presentation as the riders prepare. Just
When you can't be there, Smart Packs can. Smart Packs are the only way to be sure your horse gets the right supplements in the right amounts every day. Say goodbye to missed doses and borrowed scoops, and say hello to a happier, healthier horse.